Awesome. How's it going, everyone? I'm going to give it about 10, 20 seconds since I see some people are coming in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday, I believe, hump day. Cool. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let me see how I move my slides here. Cool. Good to go. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Sosa. I'm the CEO of OM Performance Marketing. We are a full stack digital advertising agency that works mainly with B2B sales-led organizations, meaning we drive complete ad and conversion strategies for companies that have complex sales cycles and B2B solutions. Today, I'm here to talk about beyond ads. And really, we call this mastering full stack digital advertising. I want to get pretty tactical and chat about complete ad strategies on how we make advertising a tool for pipeline growth, especially in complex B2B buying cycles. So that's really what I want to dive in today. The first half is going to be more theory, understanding what full stack digital advertising is, and then hopefully show people exactly how we accomplish that. From our worldview, the reality is that advertising is in trouble. Budgets are tightening up. Marketers are forced to show ROI, and very few are able to make it work. So we're going to dig into why it's so difficult and the process and tools needed to make it actually work for businesses. So if we're good to go, let's go ahead and dive in. I think we have a room of go-to-market experts here in Pavilion. So I think we all know digital advertising can be a powerful tool for growth. It allows broad reach and exponential growth that can't be achieved through many other strategies. Yet many companies struggle to unlock its full potential. A recent study, I think this is Faceta Research, which is Chris Walker. I think you all know him if you follow the marketing world in LinkedIn. Over 300 B2B SaaS companies show the average CAC payback period is 10 years. That means it takes companies 10 years to cover the cost of paid acquisition. And this isn't feasible for most companies. And this is often the reason advertising gets canceled. So to bring a little data into the chat before we go in there, this is a typical client prospect that comes our way. Obviously, I've very, very simplified the equation here and boiled it down to an MQL number divided by the industry average MQL to customer conversion rate. This is a company with a 30K lifetime value. And in this scenario, what you can see is they need to be acquiring MQLs, if we want to start with that metric, at $250 to have a decent economics. Ideally, a really healthy company has a 4 to 6 CAC LTV ratio. And anyone here that really understands their data knows how challenging it can be to acquire qualified B2B leads for under $250 with digital advertising. So I think this highlights how hard it can be to have healthy advertising motion without world-class execution. And ultimately, advertising needs to find a way to not just convert leads. We'll dig into that more, but like leads are easy. Targeting, educating, and converting high-quality prospects and qualified prospects that convert from MQL to customer at a high rate is basically a requirement for the economics of paid advertising to work. So why is this happening? The common culprit is that the common strategy is what we call single layer advertising, right? Companies think advertising can succeed with just ad creative, ad platforms, and a do-it-all marketer. And the traditional strategy, and my face might be in the way here, but a traditional strategy looks like this, right? They target their ICP. There's transactional ad creative, right? The best blank software rated 5 stars in G2, and they measure on leads. There's this perception that we see very, very often with prospects and companies that we audit that you throw money at Google Ads, Meta, LinkedIn, and money just comes out the other side. The reality is that never works. And what ends up happening is it fails 80% of the time, marketing and advertising gets canceled, and the SDR rat race begins. And now I'm very bullish on the SDR outbound motion. But the problem and how that differs from digital advertising is that's very linear growth versus exponential growth. And what digital marketing, digital advertising allows, when done well, is more exponential growth. And I want to drive companies in that direction. So I think a big takeaway here is that advertising cannot be treated as a standalone solution. But there is a solution. And I think that begins with remembering that advertising should be fuel that scales your entire marketing strategy and unique value prop, not just transactional marketing. So this solution requires three things in three areas of strategy. It must have layered targeting to influence every stage of the buyer's journey. So we want to target every stage. 2, it requires content and creative that can support every stage of that journey. This is where content and targeting strategy meet, and I'm excited to dig into this in just a bit. And 3, it must be measurable at pipeline so you can optimize for quality and not volume. This is a really big one. I know it's talked about a lot, but leads are easy with today's tools and technology, but leads don't buy. And often what happens in digital advertising, you begin to optimize too much for lead and lead attribution, and your funnel becomes clickbait, because clickbait is how you actually get high volume, low quality leads. And what we want to optimize is for pipeline and quality opportunities, and let that dictate your digital marketing. So we call that full stack advertising, and that's what we're going to dig in today. And what you'll see here is that advertising in our worldview is more than just ads. It's a complete suite of marketing tools driven by paid to enhance ad performance and maximize returns. So you take your marketing and your marketing tool sets, you enhance that reach through paid, which is what paid advertising is really good at, and use it to drive business growth. In this visual, you see we're targeting at every stage, and we're about to see what that looks like. We're leveraging everything that we have at our disposal, our thought leadership content, the advertising, our landing pages, our webinar strategies, the data inside our CRM. Everything is pushed through our targeting to drive pipeline growth. So now that we hopefully understand what full stack advertising is, let's go and dig into some tactical execution. Hopefully we can walk out of here with like real strategies that you can practice and execute and orchestrate in your own companies. So here we have a full view or an orchestrated strategy. And after this, we'll dig into every component. And part of the big takeaway with this slide is you should be planning and orchestrating your complete ad strategy in this way or a similar way. What you see here at the top section, we segment our targeting based on awareness, education, and intent levels. So we have our cold targeting, ABM audiences, so like our target audiences or firmographic audiences that we set on the ad platforms. Then we get a little bit deeper into the remarketing and signal layers, people that we know have some understanding of awareness of our solutions or our products. And lastly, our high intent audiences. Then you work your way down to the orange and yellow, and now we're getting into communication priorities and content. So at each stage of targeting, we set content and communication priorities, meaning from the ad creative to the marketing assets to the ad experience that deliver on that ad promise. We're being very intentional with how we communicate people based on where they are in the buyer's journey. And lastly, if you keep going down to the blue, we analyze and optimize at every stage to increase conversion of the buyer's journey. And really the objective here is to create a buyer experience and provide the complete tool set to educate your prospects. We don't just want leads, we want highly educated prospects to go through our funnels. It's a completely orchestrated advertising experience. So let's go ahead and dig a little deeper. Here we have a sample partner of ours. They are in the computer vision space. And we're going to start layered targeting. With layered targeting, our goal is to empower the entire journey of our prospects. So audience planning based on awareness levels, pixel data, and intent signals. Targeting is structured by education and intent stages. And the targeting is set up for relevant communication priorities. So if we look at the example here, we break down our audiences based on what we know and what the data tells us. So in the top section, what we call tofu, top of funnel, we have low awareness, low education. So that's your target lists, your ideal customer profile, your lookalike audiences, so your pixel audiences that you were building inside the platforms. And the arrow, which we'll get into the next slide, begins to push us towards, hey, how do we communicate with people that should know about us, should be educated about our company, but don't have much awareness today? Then you get into this middle of funnel, primarily remarketing, right? So your traffic remarketing, your CRM engaged, your specific high value pages remarketing, your lead event and lead actions, pixel audiences. So the people that we know have some signals of progress within our solution. And again, how do we communicate with them? And then lastly, you get into your bottom of funnel, your conversion audiences, your high intent audiences, right? People that began demo requests and maybe didn't convert, your high intent content remarketing, your lead targeting inside your CRM, and your pipeline audiences, the people that maybe have funneled in through lower friction lead flows that need that education to take the deeper high intent actions such as demo call or sales call. So once we have our targeting layers, we get into our messaging priorities, right? We have audiences, and now we're pulling from communication categories that are relevant and important to that audience. So we want to inform our audience. This is content and creative specific for each targeting stage. Again, more than just conversion ads, especially in B2B complex solutions. It can't just be request a demo, see why we're the best blank software. We need to educate and guide that buyer's journey. We must leverage our entire marketing tool set, so our content, our trust marketers, and our thought leadership through different stages of the advertising journey. And we should have dedicated website and landing pages experiences that support that ad promise, right? Very often you see this very educational ad creative driving to a book demo page. So there's an absolute disconnect, and that just absolutely kills your conversion rates. So going to the more tactile graphic on the right, we have our audiences. The arrows are pulling to the communication categories that are relevant and important to the audience. Like, what do we want people to know at various stages, right? In the top of funnel, we might want to communicate the main problem that we solve, the results of working with us, maybe a product and service overview. As you get deeper towards the middle of funnel, we know they know who we are. They might have some early signals of intent, and we want to educate them on how we're different. What are the expected results? Maybe show some case studies. And lastly, once we know there's high impact intent signals, we start to drive deeper communication strategies, such as the cost of not working with us, or if it's really deep, drive that sales action. And as you see here, something that we think is very, very important because we want to optimize conversion at every stage is dedicated website experiences that will deliver on each ad promise, right? If we're driving a case study ad, it should be a case study landing page or case study experience. If we're doing product marketing, it should drive to further education about that product. We need to obsess less on just getting the person to fill out a form and make sure that we're driving them through the buyer's journey and that every touch point is relevant to them. And that's how we're going to build pipeline. And then the final stage is making sure that this is measurable and actionable. In full stack advertising, we have a measuring structure at every stage, and we're properly leveraging CRM data, not just platform conversion data, to improve optimization, right? What are the things that we want to impact at every stage, and how do we optimize for those? And then ultimately, are we properly getting those people into a CRM? Are they annotated and attributed properly so we can segment, nurture, and engage those leads? And is the data there effective so it can inform our optimization, right? I want to inform my actions in my advertising strategy based on quality, velocity and not just lead volume. So hopefully, and I'm more than happy to share those screenshots after the fact so anyone can replicate or use or ask me questions as needed. But what you see here and what we're trying to communicate is full stack advertising brings the tools, targeting, and the journey together to maximize conversion rate at every stage. The goal is to convert more of a qualified audience, which will reduce your customer acquisition costs. It's not about lead volume. We can all go to Apollo or Zoom Info and get any contact that we want in today's world. That's where your SDR and your outbound strategy can go. Our goal is to really focus on educating and driving valuable prospects through our buyer's journey and get a quality lead metric and quality acquisition economics that allow us to make decisions around increasing, doubling ad spend, or throttling back if the economics are not making sense. The great thing about great marketing, great advertising is that small changes at conversion rate level can drive exponential returns. So now we're seeing the same B2B prospect, right? $30,000 lifetime value. We're using an industry average here of 2 to 4% MQL to customer ratio. And through buyer's journey strategy of digital advertising, we're able to increase that MQL to customer rate, right? We're talking quality, not volume, from 3% to 5%. And very quickly, the economics get much better. If we can maintain or achieve the 250 MQL, we have 6x CAC to LTV ratio, which is world-class. But even at a $500 MQL, which is more realistic for this client, and is more where we actually landed, we had a healthy business at a 3x CAC to LTV ratio. So a lot of what we're going to focus here is guiding quality pipeline. So the lead quality and the way they push through the sales journey is faster and more effective. So we have healthy and scalable advertising. Some big takeaways, if you get anything from this call, advertising is not a standalone solution, right? It's not just throw money at the ad platforms. It's the fuel that scales your entire marketing strategy and unique value prop. And it's built to expand distribution of all the great marketing that you're doing. You have teams doing LinkedIn, you have a webinar strategy, you're creating content, you're creating product marketing. Those are the pieces needed to drive the buyer's journey. And advertising exists as a mechanism to expand the reach of that valuable marketing that you're doing. And that is full stack advertising. We target and optimize the journey, not the conversion. Right? We can all create super lightweight landing pages with one form field and clickbait copy to drive high lead conversion rates, but those do not move the needle at pipeline, and those will get advertising and marketing canceled. 3, use content that adds value to the journey. Too much advertising is about us, where it should be about them. Right? We know we have a complex product. We know there's a buying committee. We know there's a lot of onboarding and implementation challenges that come with joining our solution. And our goal is actually to lower that barrier to entry so they can go through the process with us. We should focus on that and add value to them so making this decision becomes easy. To expand on that, use your full marketing tools in digital advertising, right? Your landing page strategy, your webinar strategy, your thought leadership content should not live separately, and digital should not be a standalone solution. Optimize based on pipeline, extremely, extremely important. And lastly, and some people don't love this, but our worldview and why we bring technical expertise and full stack resources into marketing and advertising is because you have to do it right or don't do it at all. It can be a very expensive strategy when done wrong, and we really want to drive world-class advertising. So to wrap up, if you do ads, do it full stack. Thanks for your time, and hopefully feel free to reach out to me. My email and name is right there, and I'm on LinkedIn.